Now that we have learned that there are two ways to classify triangles, by its sides and by its angles, we are going to put that into practice. So you should have this note sheet out in front of you. Here we are going to color code, and if you have colors, great. If not, that is fine. We're going to use blue, green, and purple. So if you'd like to press pause and get your markers out in front of you, then you may do so. If not, just continue on. So we are going to use blue. Let's draw a blue square, and blue is going to be our acute angles. Okay, we are going to use purple. Purple is going to be our obtuse angle. And then we are going to use green, and green is going to be our right. I've been saying angles, right triangles, but they're going to be classified as angles also. So if we look down here, we have a blue because we want to color in our acute. We want to color in our obtuse purple and our right green. Okay, so here it has reminders. It gives you your definitions again. So it tells you the definition of a scalene triangle. It tells you your definition of an isosceles, of an equilateral, and then what contains acute triangles, and what is in a right triangle, and what is in an obtuse triangle. Okay, so if we're looking at acute scalene, an acute scalene triangle is going to have 3 acute angles and no congruent sides. So we want to look at this paper and we want to see which one of these have 3 acute angles and no congruent sides. So if we look for no congruent sides, we have this one over here, and it says that our sides are 10 centimeters, 8.2 centimeters, and 11.2 centimeters, and our inside, so those are no equal sides, no congruent sides, and our inside angles are 75 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees. That would classify as an acute scalene. So I would like you at this time to please draw that triangle that we just identified in this space. So this is our acute scalene. Please press pause and draw that now. Now I want you to identify a right isosceles triangle. A right isosceles triangle. So it has to have a right angle, so we're looking for the squares. So I have a right angle here and a right angle here. Those are the only ones I'm seeing right there. So isosceles means I have 2 congruent sides, at least 2 congruent sides. So if I look at this top one right here, I have 77 yards, 120, and 92 yards. None of those show me 2 equal numbers. So if I go down here, I have 6 feet, and 6 feet, and 8.5 feet. So it looks like this one is our winner because it has our right angle that we're looking for, and it has 2 congruent sides. So if you will please at this time, please draw our right isosceles triangle in this space provided. When you are finished, please press play. So now let's look at our obtuse triangle. Let's look and find an obtuse equilateral triangle. That would mean that this triangle has one obtuse angle, two acute angles, and all three equal sides. So let's look at our angles first. This one has a 102-degree angle, so that's an obtuse angle. This one right here has a 94-degree angle. That's obtuse also. Now I only see two obtuse angles, so let's look at this bottom one first. This bottom one says I have the 65, 110, and 65 meter sides. Those are not equal, so that would not qualify for our obtuse equilateral triangle. This middle one here tells me that my sides are 221, 280. Those are not three congruent sides, so that wouldn't work either. So it looks like one of these X's or does not exist signs go in our obtuse equilateral. We cannot have an obtuse equilateral. So please draw that symbol there. We cannot have an obtuse equilateral because if you think about it, all three sides have to be congruent. That means all three angles are congruent. And I can't have three obtuse angles to add up and be 180 degrees. Because remember, all three angles in a triangle will add up to be 180 degrees. So if you notice, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces that are not filled in yet. I would like you to take this time and fill in these 6 spaces, and you will check these with your table groups tomorrow.